Hello! Today we make a nice video and I will tell you a nice story. Probably 15 years ago I started to make a copy of a nice violin, which is here in this book, 3 Centuries of Violin Making, of Italian Violin Making. It's a Artemio Versari. He's a collector from, I think he's from Venice. Yeah, he made a few of these publications, and this here is just, you know, instruments, important ones. And I know he's from Rimini. Yeah, so I somehow got this book from Claudio Mazzolari, who is the photographer of this book. And most violins and violin reference books are made by Claudio Mazzolari, by the way. He's from Cremona here. And well, here's a Niccolo Amati, and a Calcaneus, a Guadagnini, Guarnieri, Montagnana, Storioni we made it very often, this one specifically, yeah. And then another Stradivari, 1727, a very nice one. And then in between all this, Testore. And every time I saw a Testore, I was always pretty much attracted. So I started to make this one probably 15, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, the first one. And I still remember a friend of mine from Japan, Hiroki Ishii. He came here, we made the violin making school together 30 years ago. So he saw that I made the Testore and he was laughing, ha ha ha, like this. And he told me, you will never sell it. And I said, don't mind, I just make it for myself. That violin, I made it already so often, probably 50 times at least. And I changed so many things. I just had these pictures. I just made it so many times. Yeah? And it always sounds super great. This is actually the point. So this one here I'm making is, I can tell already it sounds good. And then a few years ago when I went with my Elena to Venice, it happened to me that I just in a museum there, I saw that specific instrument and it was very dark inside, so I had to make some picture with my cell phone. And I still look at the cell phone looking at these pictures and to do as good work as possible. Yeah. So this here is a violin which I'm going to make for a customer in Hong Kong, Nigel, and he wants it to have as possible close to the original. So now I have to make the neck setting today. We can put here this one here like this, so then you see a little bit the F-holes while I'm measuring here. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you this. Oh, actually, you know what we can do? I just leave it like this. I take the pieces and we go to Venice and we see the original. Come on, let's go, come on, come on. Allora, amore, sei pronta? Andiamo a Venezia.
Pronta per partire.
Let's go to Venice, come on. Let's go to Venice. Fantastica! Madonna, ma... Hello, hello! Here we are now directly in Venice. It's in the morning, but I can show you I'm on a very empty square here in Piazza San Marco. I have also my violin with me, my Testore, Carlo Antonio Testore, and here on the back side I go through all the way direction Accademia, and then on the way very close before the Accademia, 1 square before, there is the Museum of Museo della Musica, and that's where I'm going to double check my Carlo Antonio Testore. We are having here a little bit better setup of the violin I made. Okay, let's go. I'm already a little bit late. Another 10 minutes and I have the appointment. Even so, the museum is closed. I'm looking forward. Okay, here we are now on this nice, beautiful square. And this here is the entrance of the Museo della Musica. Paolo Colognato, the director of the Museo della Musica, Antonio Vivaldi ai suoi tempi. This is the entrance. It is closed and we're going to reopen it in August. And I have here my violin in here. And Paolo opened already the door. And we're going inside. Hello, Paolo.
Ciao.
Wow, so here we are inside the museum. No electricity by now. It is completely dark in here. And the violin I am looking, this is usually the entrance. And the violin I'm looking in is in this showcase on the other side. And mine is in here. And the other one is here. Now let's see how we can do this. This is getting serious. Okay, here we have now the two instruments laying next to each other. I just wanted to show you how I'm actually making the instrument from a book and how it looks actually in real, which makes a huge difference. Because if you look at the book, you see that it is very orange here, and in real it is very brown, right? So printing is always amplifying the red extremely. And what you don't see is the arching, and indeed the arching is completely different to what I'm usually making. Here you cannot see how I made my arching, but it is a more smooth and very equilibrated arching, while here it is very high in this area, here also in this area, and here on the top it's very blown up. Here I can show you. It is a very blown up arching, which I would have never imagined to be like this. And on the back side, it is pretty similar to how I actually would have made it. And I remember that it was very greenish, the varnish, while it isn't greenish. That was probably the light from the showcase. It is super nice, really, really nice. I wouldn't have expected such a great instrument. The scroll, you can see that they worked really tough, and it is all warped in one direction, much more than you could actually expect in the violin in the book. It is all turned to this side here and twisted as well. Here you can see it, maybe, hold on. Yeah, here you see it, how it is warped and yeah, very, very difficult to line it up. And you can here again see the arching, very nice. And what is full in the upper and the lower, and in this, where the F holes are in the C's, it goes inside very strong, okay, on the top, yeah, and on the back probably the same, because how you do anything, you do everything, yeah. So here you can a little bit with the shadows, you have a little bit the idea of how the arching is looking like, and this is just very interesting compared to the instrument I'm making. It is a completely different, or complete, it's not so actually. Now that I compare it, it's not so different. It's just in the upper and the lower part, it should be a little bit more thicker. In the C, actually my arching is very similar to what we can see here, and probably the main problem I have on my instrument, on my copy, is that it's too nicely lined up, especially the scroll is too straight, no imperfections, and that's actually something I could make a little bit, I could train myself to make a little bit warped. F-hole, very good. I'm so happy to see this. You can't imagine that just a little bit of time makes such a huge difference for me, that I can see these kind of things. Here also the purfling, which is so much nice. And I just only saw it on the pictures on here, where it is completely, let's see, this is the picture of the book, and this is the corner in reality, which is a much different thing, while this is my corner I made. I still have to varnish it, but you know, I'm always working a little bit too clean. Let's see, this one here, I'm forcing myself to make it as it should be. And here you have, with dirt and everything, the corner, how it looks in reality is interesting, huh? Wow, I'm so happy. Now I will take some measurements and some things like this. Uno se fa la copia così, si fa fatica a credere che l'originale è così, no? Con i bordi che sono tipo 4, 5, a volte la sporgenza qui. Se uno lo fa così, io lo faccio tutto troppo regolare, troppo pulito, troppo pulito. Incredibile, poi il ricciolo che è così storto, è tutto, cioè lì non si vede, sembra quasi come allineato, no? Ma è più così, non si vede. So I think this is, now I studied a little bit, I looked at the violin, and I compared the two scrolls from each side, and it is very interesting to see certain details you cannot see on a picture. And the whole scroll is twisted and turned to one side. Another sign that the old masters, the great masters, used very fresh wood. Nowadays makers, we have to use very seasoned wood. Then you can see very nice certain tool marks, and this describes you the process of how they did it and how they didn't sharpen their tools this much, how we sharpen them, and then how they didn't really take care so much about symmetry. If you look at these scrolls from this side and from this side, you see how mine is too clean, and I'm always trying to make things already as clean as possible. And even the scroll is turning too well, we focus too much on certain things. So this side you're looking now, I think is quite okay, while the other side I'm not so proud about it. And you would say that on pictures you can see so much the nice difference. And then another small detail of the peg box, which I didn't understand that it goes to completely zero, is actually that it goes to zero, and I left it a little bit bigger. So I think I will still go and adjust it. And then also here, the line here, I will take a little bit more away. I'm still in time, it's still wide, so no need to rush, and my customer will be happy that I gave my best and I came to Venice to see the original Yeah, so this is about the scroll. I didn't glue it in because I was already thinking of doing some adjustments once I'm back in my workshop in Cremona. So this is about the scroll. And the other thing is about the body itself. Without too much thinking, I just made it 35.5, which is actually a standard measurement for the size of a body. And this one seems smaller, and indeed smaller size violins sound actually even better. And this one is 34.9 and the back is 35 centimeters, which is half a centimeter smaller. You wouldn't expect that something like this is okay. So if you would have now a Japanese violin dealer with his meter in his hand, he wouldn't buy it, yeah. But on an auction, then they buy it for a few millions. So I think I will do the whole thing as well with the right measurement, and still have to see how I can make this nice brown shellac varnish. The purfling is just incredibly nice, and it is slightly closer to the edge than I made mine. If I show you, maybe I showed you already before, but here you can see how it is close to the corner, and here certainly you see it here black and white, so it's a little bit different appearing on mine. Yeah, and here you see the other one. Yeah, so I think it is a very nice idea. The scrolls, the F-holes are straighter and slightly bigger than I cut them, I would say. And altogether, I'm pretty happy about the choice of wood I made here for Nigel. The archings also, actually. In the first impression, I had the impression that I was far away from what I see here, but now when I'm comparing it, I'm actually very happy what I did. And even here, when I look about my arching video, here in these areas, I think there is the secret of the Italian arching in here, which is very good here. And you can tell that there is a very good arching. Yeah? There is a master behind what he did. So I think this is good enough for today. And lots of information for me at least, and for you just to see that I'm trying to give my best here, and I love doing this kind of things. Okay. Wow, this was kind of an experience. So now I have to go with Paolo to go and have a coffee, because he's actually annoying. Because they are closed until August. They are doing some restoration work on this palace here, and since they have to pay high rent here, I think it's better I don't waste too much of his time. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time back in Cremona on my working bench. Bye bye, ciao ciao, and subscribe. And if you want to get some more information, become a patron. This is worth. Ciao ciao.